This week's question is asked by Sparkle Sprinkles. She says, "What is your favorite movie?" I have a lot. Hello and welcome to Out of the Question, the family-friendly video series where I ask you, the viewers, questions, and you, the viewers, ask me questions too. This episode's gonna be rushed because I recorded it and it ended up being 40 minutes long, so I'm re-recording it, and hopefully I can make it a lot shorter. We're gonna get right into it now, okay? Starting off, we're gonna do Mary Poppins, a wonderful and delightful Disney film that is absolutely a classic and absolutely probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite Disney film of all time. Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke as a screen couple is absolutely amazing. I absolutely adore that combination. I wish that they made more than probably just this movie together. They might have. If they have, I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to explain what Mary Poppins is, because if you don't know what Mary Poppins is, just go watch it, alright? Did you know that Julie Andrews was actually not going to be Mary Poppins for this film? Or she almost wasn't able to be Mary Poppins for this film. She was going to go play Eliza Doolittle from My Fair Lady, but she ended up getting pregnant, and so the guy was like, "Oh, we're not going to wait for you, we're just going to cast this other lady over here who was Audrey Hepburn." By the way, she did an amazing job. So Walt Disney, came up to Julie Andrews and was like, "Hey, can we get you to play Mary Poppins?" And she's like, "Well, I'm pregnant." And he's like, "Okay, we'll wait." And so he waited until pregnancy was over and she got back into acting shape and then made this absolutely amazing movie. Just, thank you, Walt Disney. You have given us a blessing of a movie. Whew! Okay, moving on to the next film. Fun and Fancy Free. This is like another one of my favorite Disney films, because this is my favorite Disney film. Fun and Fancy Free was actually a combination of 3 small projects that were not going to be able to go to fruition if not being combined to make one feature-length film that they could play in theaters. Fun little fact. As you can see, it stars Mickey, Donald, and Goofy playing Jack and the Beanstalk. It also has 2 other shorts. One is Bongo, and the other is really just what happens in between those scenes with Jiminy Cricket kind of going over a bunch of different places. It is an absolutely adorable and fun, family-friendly film from Walt Disney's probably more like golden age of movies. I don't know what age of Disney movies we would be in now. Maybe bronze? I don't know. It's not very clear. I've met people who say that they're Disney fanatics who didn't know that this film existed, which I think is just absolutely crazy. Like, how do you not know about Fun and Fancy Free? If you've never known about Fun and Fancy Free until this day, let me know. And go check it out. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Amazon. Following a Fun and Fancy Free style of film, we have, I'm going to do a Holiday Inn first, we have Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire in one of their only 2 film appearances. They were both showmen who are Bing Crosby's wanting to get out of show business and go into a nice, old, relaxing lifestyle of farm work. Turns out it's not quite what he was expecting, and so what he does is he opens an inn that is only open for all the holidays out of the year, which is where the namesake Holiday Inn comes from, because that's what he opens. And the little lady right there in the middle becomes a contention point for Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, because Fred Astaire needs a new partner after his left him, and Bing Crosby then tries to hide her, and a bunch of really fun and crazy stuff happens in between. But this film really stood out to me because, 1, Bing Crosby with the amazing voice, and then 2, Fred Astaire with the amazing dance in a movie together, written entirely with Irving Berlin songs, because Irving Berlin was kind of a weird guy who wouldn't let any other songs except for his own in a movie. Don't know why, but, you know, that's what it is. This movie is one of the ones that really, really made me love Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby and want to, like, try and watch all of their films and make me want to sing and dance and do all the little pizzazz stuff on the stage. The only other movie that they ever made together was Blue Skies, and it is another great film which has somewhat of a similar plot line, actually, now that I think about it, which is weird. But did you know that this is the very first film that White Christmas was sung on? Yeah, White Christmas did not appear in the movie White Christmas originally. It appeared right here, sung by Bing Crosby in an amazing rendition. If you've never seen this movie, watch it, fall in love with it. It's one of the ones that I always introduce to people whenever I'm trying to get them into the classic movie realm. And everybody loves it. I've not met anybody who does not love it to some extent. Also, a very song-heavy film that is maybe want to do more stage work is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers! I do not know all of the names of the brothers. If I thought very hard, it's A through G. It probably wouldn't be that hard to think about. But it is starring Howard Keel and Jane Powell in the leading roles. The movie is about Adam Ponsonby, that's Howard Keel's character, going out and finding himself a little lady friend with a song that would probably nowadays be considered very sexist, along with another song from this film that would also probably be very sexist. You know, thinking about it, this film would probably not go over very well with modern audiences, at least if they were very, like, staunch, like, women can do everything. Although I think it has a very good, strong woman vibe, but also a very strong, like, family and, you know, man in man position and woman in woman position thing. So I think it's actually a pretty good film about love and marriage and having a really crazy and fun family, kind of like my own. Not quite like my own, but, you know, it's good. Check it out. Another one that I always show to people, have yet to see one person dislike it, and I highly love it. Again, I think you can find it on Amazon. You know what? If I can find these on Amazon Play, I'm just going to link them in the description so you can go and watch them. Would that be a weird thing to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll open an Amazon affiliate link so I'll make money off if you go and watch those videos. I should really do that now that I'm thinking about that. But anyways, let's keep going. Some more modern type films that I absolutely love and will probably never not love. Again, another musical. I really like musicals now that I think about it. Well, I mean, I knew that a long time ago, but I didn't realize how many of them made it into my favorite films of all time. You know, thinking about it, almost all of these films I actually like for the music in them. Well, over half of them, I really love the music in them. And August Rush is another one where I really love the music in it. Starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers with Kerry Russell and Frederick Highmore, he's Frederick Highmore, with Robin Williams in a role that he is not typically very much in, with Terrence Howard, the original, who is Iron Man's friend? War Machine, who played the original War Machine in the very first Iron Man film, fun fact. But it is about this kid right here trying to find his parents who left him up for adoption. And then his parents, one, trying to reconnect with each other because they left each other and were never able to find each other again. And then also one of them trying to find him because the other kind of doesn't know that he exists. But it is an absolutely beautiful film with absolutely beautiful music. If the composer for this film has not won any awards, he needs to. Because he deserves, like, all of them. Oh, and fun fact, it also has Leon Thomas III. He was the black guy with the piano in Victoria's that always playing the tunes. He plays the guitar in here and has an amazing singing voice, along with another girl who I think was only ever featured in this film, who has an extremely powerful voice, like, my goodness. She was basically Jackie Evancho before Jackie Evancho at that age, if you know who Jackie Evancho is. Going off the hype train of all of the Marvel films that are going on, we have the original Marvel film. It is my favorite Marvel film ever. Just period. Okay, look, Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I don't care who hates me for stating that. I think most people would agree with me. Did you know this is the highest rated Spider-Man film still to date? And I absolutely love that fact because this is like, see someone that say, you like Marvel? I'm like, I like Spider-Man. And then I had to explain which one. Because it had an amazing cast. Aunt May was amazing. The guy who played Doc Ock was amazing. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, amazing. I actually am a pretty big fan of Tobey Maguire as an actor, even though he's not in a ton. And I've only seen him in probably like 3 films now that I think about it. But he's amazing. And then you also have the guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson, who is also, another fun fact, in Portal 2, playing, whoever founded Aperture Science Laboratories, he does the voice for that. He was also in La La Land and Whiplash, which are both films directed by whatever his name is that directed La La Land. Wow, I have so much information in me I didn't even realize I had. But this is the best, the most amazing Spider-Man, and the most spectacular Spider-Man film that there is out there. Spider-Man 2. Like, I might go watch this after I finish recording. Actually, probably not, because I've got a lot of homework to catch up on. But check it out. It's amazing! Ah, love it, love it, love it! Okay, gotta keep moving, gotta keep moving. If you've never heard of Studio Ghibli, if you've never seen a Studio Ghibli film, I would suggest starting with this one. I do know that My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away are by far more famous ones, but after watching a third of all of Studio Ghibli's films, this one did it for me. The soundtrack by Joe Hisaishi, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, absolutely beautiful. The song, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky, oh my goodness, the first time I watched this movie, I heard that song, I was like, getting it now. But this film follows Pazu and Sheeta, she's played by Anna Paquin, and he is played by James Vanderbeek. Oh, the main villain in this little movie right here is actually voiced by Mark Hamill. Pretty cool stuff, right? Castle in the Sky follows this little girl who has something quite special that a lot of people are trying to get from her. And she ends up bumping into Pazu, and you get to see them go on a grand adventure to try and find a lost city called Laputa, a castle in the sky. All I can say is that Studio Ghibli is basically the Disney of Japan. It's even brought over and paid for by Disney to get the voice actors and everything, and it is absolutely adorable. I love it from start to finish. It's like 2 hours long, and let me tell you, I think that is like absolutely perfect time. Studio Ghibli, I don't know how they're able to do it, but they have the moments of excitement where you're like, ooh, is everything gonna be okay? Oh my gosh, and then after the excitement's over, they have very, very calm moments. We are getting close to the end. City Lights. I'm sure that everybody knows that I absolutely love Frank Capra, which I have his autobiography right here, and Charles Chaplin, who I have his autobiography downstairs. I've already finished Frank Capra's autobiography, working on Charlie Chaplin's autobiography. But one of my absolute favorite Charles Chaplin films is City Lights. Note, I have not seen all of Charles Chaplin's films yet, but whenever I saw City Lights, I was like, gotta get it. Actually, scratch that. I bought City Lights because I was looking for a new Charles Chaplin film to watch, and I already wanted to collect it. Also, it's a Criterion collection, so it's very special to me. This is basically the premise of all of his films, except for Limelight, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, in typical Chaplin style. Continuing on, I'm going to talk about Boys Town, starring Spencer Tracy and Mickey Rooney. It is a semi-autobiographical film about Father Flanagan, that's who he's playing, who decides to make a town for lost boys. Think of him as the Peter Pan of this world. He's been trying and trying and trying to create these things to help people. You know, he really, really wants to help people so badly, but none of his stuff's really worked. Then he decides, he's like, you know what, I'm going to make a town completely run by boys. And so he does it. He gets boys to help build the town, and then they elect mayors and politicians and stuff. They have their own mail system. They make a full-on town, originally starting with just one single house, with the objective of finding boys who are hungry and making them full, of finding boys who are broken and bringing them back together, and of finding boys who are bad and making them good. And as he gets more and more support from the public, and as more and more boys come into his little house, he's like, we need more room. And he purchases a bunch of land, and then they build a town. They build a town, and it's an absolutely adoring movie about a guy who cares, you know? It's absolutely amazing. And anyways, so skipping ahead a little bit of time like the movie does, eventually, Whitey Marsh, Mickey Rooney's character, comes to Boys Town, a little bit against his own will, but, you know, Father Flanagan's here, and he wants to help every boy become good. But, Whitey Marsh has different plans for his life than Father Flanagan and all the boys of Boys Town, and that's where a lot of the tension comes from. So, I highly suggest this film. Okay, check it out. It's one of my tops. No joke. Right. Gonna go over 2 of Frank Capra's films, okay guys? 2 of Frank Capra's films. We'll go over You Can't Take It With You first. You Can't Take It With You, a Frank Capra film starring Jimmy Stewart, Jean Arthur, Lionel Barrymore, and Edward Arnold. Oh my goodness, this video is just fun. This DVD is just fun. The movie, it's great. So, Jean Arthur's family and Jimmy Stewart's family are not of the same stock. Not of the same stock whatsoever. Jean Arthur's family is kind of like our own, very odd and bizarre and very weird. But they all get along just splendidly. But Jimmy Stewart's family is very, very much a giant in the world of machinery. Really the world of, they basically have a monopoly on the market. A lot of the tension in the film comes from Jimmy Stewart and Jean Arthur being in love and kind of trying to hide it from Jimmy Stewart's family, but Jimmy Stewart doesn't want to be doing that, but the show is like really great and funny And it's such a hard movie to describe. It originally started out as a stage play, and then Frank Capra was like, I love this stage play, I want to buy it and then make it better for film. And then he did. Like, anything Frank Capra touches turns to gold. Just like Lost Horizon. This book right here, Frank Capra read the book, was like, hey, this is really good, but I want to make it into a film. And in my opinion, the film is way better than the book. Although the book is still definitely worth watching. But the film is called Lost Horizon as well, and it was really, really well done. And one of the things I absolutely love about this film is Grandpa Vanderhoff, that's Lionel Barrymore's character, kind of just picks up strays, like people who are working places who don't really enjoy their jobs and their careers. And he's just like, hey, why are you doing this? People would be like, well, I have to because, it's what I need to live. And he's like, well, everybody over at our place does what they love. So why don't you come over? You seem like you'd really enjoy it over here. And then they're like, okay, and so they go, and then they never leave. It's kind of what happens. Yeah, the Vanderhoff family is kind of the neighborhood family. Like, everybody knows who they are. Every time anybody of that family leaves the house, they gets swarmed by the whole neighborhood, and they're like, oh, hey guys, how are y'all doing? Blah, 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 all that stuff. And it's absolutely adorable and hilarious film that it's just, it's just like all of these movies, I can't describe them and give them justice. Just go and see them for yourself, and you will understand why it's such a great film. I also have to say, one of my favorite things about You Can't Take It With You is that it has actually, like, really, really strong Christian themes and family values. Like, in the very end of the film, they all sit down at a table together, and they kind of like pray and are like, well, God, thank you for like all the events that transpired during this film, even though they don't say it like that, but it's like, wow, they're just like sitting down to a meal, praying as a family, as like a put together family. And it's amazing. And one of my favorite quotes from this film is Grandpa Vanderhoff goes off and he talks to people, and a person asks him, he's like, how do you make it doing what you do? You just like doing what you love. And he's like, well, we toil a little, we struggle a little, and then we trust everything else to the God who takes care of the lily of the fields, And it's just like, wow, I can't believe a film would do that. But I mean, this is, Frank Capra said he was visited by a person once who was like, you say you're a Christian and you have all this potential to do good things with film and you don't. He's like, why not? And from that day forward, Frank Capra was like, I don't know why, and he made films that he felt God could be proud of. And like, I want to be the next Frank Capra for our generation. That is my ultimate goal. And I'm starting here, and we're going to see if I can do it. Hopefully, God will enjoy that. I think he will. It's not many people have a passion that they're also good at, but I'm passionate about something that I'm also good at, and so I'm like, I want to pursue it. And I'm hoping that my passion and my pursuit will be, God blessed and sent and all that stuff. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Okay, so we're going to put that one away and talk about the next film, which is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It is a Frank Capra film starring Jimmy Stewart and Jean Arthur and Edward Arnold. But this film is about Jimmy Stewart, who is kind of forced into being a senator after, his father, the senator, dies, which is kind of sad. I think it's his father anyways. I'm pretty sure it says, but I can't remember at this moment. But he's just thrust into this place, and he is totally taken back. He doesn't know at all what he's supposed to be doing. And then he's just like, you know what? No, I'm here. People elected me to this office. I'm going to take it, and I am going to do good. So he decides that he is going to get a bill passed to create a camp for people to go to at Mount Vernon, where they can see the amazing heritage that they have in America. The American heritage. Like, that's what he wants to do. And he's getting help from Jean Arthur's character right here to help write the bill. But there's only one problem. See, Edward Arnold's character, he has something that he's trying to push through that would interrupt with Jimmy Stewart's stuff, and so he's gotta shut that down. Edward Arnold's character has some political figures under his thumb, so that's where most of the tension comes from. But it is an amazing patriotic film. If you want a film where you're like, America, that's not Captain America. This film will make you more patriotic than watching a Captain America film. Captain America doesn't really make me feel very patriotic. That's just me. If it does make somebody feel patriotic, more power to you. But like, if you really want to be like, yes, this is America, we are good, we fight the power. There you go, this film right here. Go check it, watch it. It's also a beautiful, beautiful case. Although, both of these have the stuff coming off of them, which makes me very, very sad. I don't have a special way of storing them to make them retain their beautifulness. Yeah. We're down to the last two films! Two. I don't know how I'm gonna do that with my fingers. Anyways, we're down to the last two films. Charles Chaplin's Limelight and Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. We're gonna talk about Limelight first. So, Limelight stars Charles Chaplin, was written and directed by Charles Chaplin, and honestly is the very first film I ever saw of Charles Chaplin's, or Charlie Chaplin's. I don't really know which one. It says Charles Chaplin right here. We'll go with that. After just having explored into Charles Chaplin's history, whenever you watch this film, you start to realize that he literally made a film basically as an autobiography of what he felt, but from the inside of himself. And so it is extremely, extremely deep emotionally. It's about Charles Chaplin, who is a guy who was on vaudeville, who played this character known as the Tramp, which is what his character in real life was called. And this comedian was at the top of his game. Everybody loved him and knew his name. And then a new generation came in, and nobody thought he was funny anymore, and he lost the vigor that he once had, just like he did in real life. With his character the Tramp, whenever he started out on vaudeville and then went to movies, and then a new generation came around who didn't find him funny anymore, and so he kind of got lost in the background. If you don't want to read about his history but kind of want to know everything you really need to know about the guy, like his character, what he believes, and stuff like that, just check out Limelight. I cannot recommend this film enough. It is like number 2 on my top list of films. That's why I'm saving it for this long. Just, wow, there's so much to this film that you need to see and check out, okay? Just, I will absolutely link up a way that you can watch that film. Just absolutely will. Okay, moving into the last film. This is my absolute favorite film. Like, Limelight's here, this movie's here. And people are gonna be like, are you serious? That one? And I'm like, yes, because you cannot tell me that there is a better film ever created, okay? And that film is It's a Wonderful Life. It is directed by Frank Capra, starring Jimmy Stewart and Lionel Barrymore. Is there an echo going on? Because, like, I feel like I've said that a bunch of times now. It's also starring Donna Reed, who did an amazing job in this film. But this film, the best way I can think to describe it is a reverse Christmas Carol. So instead of a person being told why he's a bad person and why life would be better without him, instead, Jimmy Stewart's character, he gets to the point where he's ready to commit suicide, and then this little guy, Clarence, right here, an angel, second class, still trying to get his wings, he's tasked with going and seeing Jimmy Stewart's character right here, George Bailey, and Clarence shows George Bailey what life would be like without him. And I love the concept. 2, it's pulled off amazingly. 3, it's just the best film ever. 4, the film has one of my favorite quotes ever, even though it's never actually said. It's on a picture on the wall. The quote says, "The only thing you take with you is that which you've given away," which I think is an extremely true statement, especially for, like, Christians, because what do we believe? Like, you give something away, and for, Christ, then you're gonna be rewarded, like, what, 1,000 times over for that one little thing you did on earth in heaven? Like, I don't know, I just feel like that's a really true statement, a really, really true and sincere statement. And, funny thing about this film is that even though it won, like, every award for picture of that year, it actually flopped whenever it first released. And then, to make it even worse, the film had a clerical error, so it became public domain almost immediately after it came out, which is actually why the film ended up being so big, because whenever Christmas came, whenever most people would have considered it, it actually came out in March, even though most of the film is considered like a Christmas film. It starts in the Christmas and ends in Christmas. That's why most people consider it a Christmas film, even though it did release in March and was supposed to, but accidentally got put in the public domain. Every station broadcasted it during Christmas, and everybody was like, whoa, this film's like actually really good. And so it became basically the quintessential Christmas film. If you've never seen this film, okay, just go watch it. Watch the film, okay? Just watch the film, alright? Yeah. But it's like the quintessential Christmas film. It is my absolute favorite film of all time. It's like family values, just understanding the importance and impact that you make, even whenever you don't think you really matter, and the way it handles everything, it's amazing, okay? Just, I cannot over-recommend this. If you've never seen this movie before, maybe I'll like Twitch stream me watching this film during Christmas, or do a YouTube live of me watching the film with like commentary by me. I don't know. But wow, I mean, it's one of those, you know, like whenever something's like your absolute favorite and you love it so much that you can't really say anything about it because you love it so much. That's me in It's a Wonderful Life. I wish I could say so much more about it, but I just can't. So please just go check it out for yourself. You will not be disappointed at all. And that is all of my favorite films. What are your favorite films and why? Please, I would love to hear this. I'm super passionate about films. Just let me know in the comments below or at ootqcontact@gmail.com. And you know what? If you want to see your answer in next week's episode, hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon so that you never have to miss a thing. And this video is very long, so I'm actually going to have to separate this week's question, or last week's answers for last week's question, into a separate video. So I hope everybody is okay with that, and maybe if you like the format, I will keep that up, because then it would allow me to post 2 videos on different days, and I'd be able to spend more time on each, which I think a lot of people might like once I do it. But I don't know, I'll have to do that first. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the other side. Bye! Oh yeah, and I'll put films in my little subscribe button right here, so check out these and hit my face if you want to subscribe. Check it out. Watch It's a Wonderful Life. It's really good. And all the other films that I suggested, and maybe some of my videos, because I could use the support. Thanks. You guys are awesome. Bye.